Okay. Just leave it.
Turn them on right away.
All right, it's 5 o'clock, so I'll call this meeting to order. We'll start out with roll call. Alderperson Flicky-Pineski.
Here.
Perrella.
Here.
Ackley.
Here.
And Feldy. Do we have anybody online? No. Okay. All right, in that case, everybody who's in the room, can you please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, it's only our second meeting of the year, so let's do introductions one more time. I'll start and we'll go clockwise or counterclockwise, whichever way would be going to my left. I'm Trey Mitchell, Alder District 9 and Chairman of the committee.
Todd Wolf, City Administrator.
Grazia Perrella, Alderperson for District 7.
Here, Portion, Director of IT. Jeff Adams, City Attorney.
Jessica House Finance.
Carrie Burns, City Administrator.
Roberta Folicky-Pineski, Vice Chair of Finance.
Betty Ackley, and I am the District 4 Alderperson.
Thank you. And then we'll move on to item 2.1, which is approval of the minutes. Is there any discussion? Otherwise, I'm looking for a motion.
Motion to approve.
We have a motion by Grazia. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Chair votes aye. Minutes are approved. Moving on to item 3.1. RO 112122, submitting a communication from the State of Wisconsin Tax Appeals Commission regarding the filing of petitions for review of determination by State Board of Assessors for manufacturing property in the matter of Georgia Pacific Consumer Operations LLC and Georgia Pacific Corrugated LLC versus Wisconsin Department of Revenue. I'll hand that off to Chuck.
Thanks. A lot of these, oftentimes we get these petitions for review on manufacturing property. Typically, the city doesn't do much on these because the state basically makes the determination and then the state sort of runs the appeal once it's done. So the city doesn't get terribly involved in these. This one's a little bit different in that we did hire outside counsel in conjunction with three other cities, the city of Plymouth, the city of Neenah, and the city of Green Bay, basically to look at this issue because there is a definitional issue in state law that's being contested that if we would lose in this case could have a major impact in other matters. In the Georgia Pacific matter for the city, I think we're 0.5% of the manufacturing property that's being dealt with, and we're paying 0.5% of the bill. So maybe at the end, Todd can pull out $10 and give it to the lawyer. But it is at least in front of you so that you're aware of what's happening. It has already been turned over to the outside counsel that we have working on this case. I can answer any questions if you have any.
Any questions from committee members?
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Chuck. Seeing none, do we need a motion on this one?
Doesn't look like.
Motion would be to file, accept and file.
Okay. Do we have such a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Chair votes aye. Motion passes. And moving on to item 3.2, submitting a communication from the Harbor Center Business Improvement District requesting that the city of Sheboygan release all funds collected on their behalf and those funds allocated to them for fiscal year 2021. Chad?
Thank you, Chair. So the Harbor Center Business Improvement District is the downtown area, basically includes South Pier, Riverfront, and then A Street from the bridge up to the Fountain Park Restaurant, and then a couple streets to the north, to the east and west of that. So any property that falls within that area is taxed under a special assessment charge on their property tax bill that goes into a separate fund for the Business Improvement District to allocate funds for events and different planning throughout the year, marketing and those types of things. So they have a board that is appointed by the mayor, and the council confirms the appointments, and they distribute those funds for the betterment of the businesses. The city, as part of our property tax collection process, we get those funds and they're calculated in the finance department and then turned over to the business improvement districts. It's about $150,000 or so a year is what they budget. The council approves their budget in November as part of the city budget. So what they're requesting here is that those funds get turned over, to get released from the city and turned over to them so that they can institute their budget. What I would say is they're really an arm of the city. They're set up under state statute. They're very similar to how the redevelopment authority operates here at the city, where they're kind of quasi-governmental, but they have a number of requirements that they have to submit to the city, and one of those requirements is financial. So they're supposed to submit under state statute financials, audited financial statements or profit and loss statements or something of their financials at the end of the year. We have not received those financials for 2020. So if the committee would so choose, the recommendation, and we've informed the board of this, that we would like to have this item be approved contingent on the city receiving an acceptable 2020 financial statement from them. And then once we have that in-house and we don't have any findings with it, then we will release the funding to them, because they've been in kind of a reorganization for some time. They let their director go about 1.5 years ago, then COVID hit. Last year, they gave the majority of their funding back to their businesses in a granting program, so they didn't do any events or anything like that. This year, they're doing funding a number of events, the night market, some concerts, some different things at City Green, some heart of the hometown marketing campaigns and different things. So they're getting their kind of reorganizing, getting themselves in order, but still we need to see what their financials look like for 2020 and kind of doing our own internal audit of them. So the recommendation would be to approve this request subject to them providing the 2020 financials.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Chair. I would like to also reiterate what Chad is referencing, because it's very important that we work with our business community, but it goes both ways. We really shouldn't be just rolling out the money because we have a policy, but then not forcing them or encouraging them to work with us on that full policy. We really need to be able to understand where's the money going. And as Chad said, there has been some changes, even pre-COVID, with how they're administering it. And we've been trying to reach out to them. And the only way we really can help nurture that is to basically say that we won't release the money unless you show us the information that they're supposed to be giving us, realistically.
I have a question. Is the fiscal year for them January 1, December 31?
Yes.
Okay. And when you say release the funds, do we literally release it to their checking account? Do they?
We cut a check to them.
So we cut a check for the entire thing, and
Yes.
then
They deposit it in their account.
Perfect, thank you.
Did they release the fund, or did they show us the numbers for 2020 and 2019?
Not for 2020. Those are the numbers we're requesting now. They provided us the 2019 numbers.
Right.
And Marty, the former finance director, and I had looked at that in Darrell, and it was satisfactory at that time, so then we released the funds.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions from committee members?
So just to confirm, the amount is $150,000, right?
Well, they budget 150,000. I mean, it's really based on what people actually pay. So I don't know that number, but the finance department calculates that as part of their tax settlement.
And I understand it is part of the process, but can you please tell us briefly what is that you actually look like into the in the financial statement that you are waiting for? What is it we need to verify as a city?
I think we just want to make sure that we want to understand, number one, it's a tax. So we're collecting a tax on their behalf. And we want to just make sure that the amount of money that they're paying out is consistent with what they said they're going to do per their budget, and that there's no other, discrepancies in it, and that it's, and to understand what do they have in, their coffers, because, realistically, they have historically over the years spent enough, whatever they brought in, it was pretty much a zero-based budget, and at the end of the year, they would, they'd go the year into a line of credit until they got the money, and then they would, kind of reimburse themselves. So I'm guessing that they have some revenues that are excess because they haven't paid a director for a year and a half, and, they only, I sit on their board, in full disclosure, I'm appointed to their board from the mayor, but we have yet to see a financial statement, even at the board level, to understand what their financials look like.
Chad, just to kind of expand on that for Grazia, would it be a better way to say is to help make sure that they're managing the funds that are collected appropriately for the area businesses that are involved with the bid?
Yes.
Because the money that's received, that the city receives, is supposed to go to the bid, and the bid is supposed to be helping to develop additional business in the bid. So it's really, the business owners are also looking to the city to making sure that we are nudging the bid to manage and use the money to develop additional business and growth within the bid.
Yes.
So if we're not reviewing it and holding them accountable, we're just rolling money through, and it could be just sitting and doing nothing.
Correct.
I hope
Thank
that
you.
helps.
Thank you.
Any other questions, discussion? If not, I believe we are looking for a motion to recommend approval on the condition that we receive those statements before the funds will be released.
Yes.
So moved.
Second?
All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion passes. Moving on to item number 3.3, submitting a communication from the State of Wisconsin Tax Appeals Commission regarding the filing of petitions for review of determination by the State Board of Assessors for manufacturing property in the matter of NEMAC USA Incorporated versus Wisconsin Department of Revenue. Back to Chuck.
Thank you. So this one is a lot like the one we did in 3.1, except we don't have outside counsel representing us on it, and there is likely not the need for us to really do anything other than receive information about what is happening in the case. It's not related to the particular issue that we have with Georgia Pacific. So for that reason, I can answer any questions about it, but what our office will do is just keep an eye on it and let you know if something changes. But we think the proper motion would be just simply to accept the document and file it.
Any questions?
I've got one. Is keeping an eye on it when they appeal? I am presuming they think their taxes are too high and the state will come in and do an assessment, and then we will or will not collect more or less.
It's really what it is.
Okay.
We will, the state will decide whether they were correct, because the state does the assessment, and then the state handles the appeal, and the state will decide if they assessed it properly.
Okay.
And it's basically NEMAC coming and saying, we think our taxes should be lower.
Okay.
And the state will say yes or no, and if the state says yes, well, then we'll have less money to work with.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. And is there any other discussion, questions? If not, we're looking for a motion to accept and file.
So moved.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Chair votes aye and the motion passes. And last up, we have item 3.4, resolution authorizing a budget adjustment and appropriation in the 2021 budget regarding the My Civic citizen engagement software system.
I guess I'll jump in there, and Eric will save me if I misspeak. My Civic is actually it's a platform, an electronic platform that we are looking for implementing into the city of Sheboygan. It's basically a one-stop shop app, so it's going to allow us to take our other websites and devices and basically take it to one area for our citizens to actually go to. So this app will actually allow, if you want to go to the city's website or DPW's website or other websites, we can also implement restaurants, things like that. So basically, we can get the citizens to go to things with one click versus having to go online and look up the actual URL to take us to the Sheboygan or even SheboyganCounty.com. We also are going to be able to push out and receive information. So it's kind of like our 311 for DPW, but it's actually, we'll be able to put survey questions out there. So this is part of our implementation towards our strategic planning, is how do we get information out to our constituents and how do we get them to be able to communicate with us on a much easier platform. So this is called My Civic, and I believe we'll probably be giving some presentations in the near future, but right now we're just talking about a budget adjustment to basically pay for the actual program itself.
Chad, go ahead.
In the document, it talks about, we looked at a different citizen engagement platform called Bang the Table, and that program does not integrate with our existing ERP system, so it would have been a standalone system. This was a better deal for us to try to integrate all of them. And I think the other thing, there's a lot of things that in the planning department per se and other departments that we do on a planning basis, that'll be a good way to engage the public in specific projects. The strategic plan is one piece of the puzzle, but I think there's projects in every department that is another way of getting more citizen engagement into what we do on a daily basis.
Another good example is it'll actually integrate with our, you'll hear DTS, it's actually our EAM program that we are looking to get approved by council in the near future for all of our equipment, assets, management system. So again, this is a integration tool into the systems that we already have within the city, trying to streamline it. As we all know, nobody wants to have multiple clicks. They want to be able to just click one button and it takes you wherever they want to go. So.
Thank you. Any?
Yeah,
Roberta?
so apps like My Neighborhood, My Neighborhood, and those kinds of things that I access and that pop up will now not pop up like that, or it will pop up under My Civic?
On My Civic, you'll actually have an outline of buttons that you can pick and choose, and you can just push it and it'll take you there. So if you want to go to DPW, there'll be a button to take you to DPW. If you want to go to, say the water utility, you can hit the water utility button if we have one of those, as an example.
The other advantage is right now we have, a number of social media sites. Every department has their own social media, and if you want to find something, you got to remember, okay, where did I see that? This will allow us to pull all of the city social media accounts into one portal, so it'll be a list of everything from every department that has been sent out for that day, and you can see it all on this one app icon versus having to go to all these individual sites.
And remember what the individual sites are and how you access them, so.
It'll be all integrated into one location, one click, and you'll see everything related. It could be DPW, police, fire, water utility, everything will come into this one portal.
Perfect, thank you.
It'll also be able to allow us to push alerts out and information.
Any other questions from committee members?
Yes, please.
Grazia?
Thank you. First of all, I actually applaud the initiative because anytime that we improve the channels for communications, I think it's a great action. So will be My Civic the actual name that citizen will see?
Yes.
And can you give us one or two examples of what the citizen can do? I understand the convenience of the one platform, but is there anything that they can do, that we can do as citizens? For example, if we need something, request something, is there any capability of that sort that will come with My Civic? Like the click to report or something
That'll be
else
in
that
there
there is a
also.
need?
Yeah, so all that stuff, so everything that you would go to all these different websites to get will all be populated in this one location. So it'll be basically an app for every day-to-day thing. So if you want to make a request for a
Picnic table.
pothole, or you wanted to make a request
Well,
for
that never
a building
happens.
code issue, you'll be able to, it'll all be right there. You don't have to go to all these individual sites. It'll just be apps on this homepage, all kind of very much streamlined on how things happen. So it's like a one portal for everything we do on a day-to-day basis.
But we
But
can also.
not for services. It's not related to a citizen's service. So if a citizen needs a service, for example, a permit or something that doesn't have that capability, can they do that through that or not?
Service for,
Individual use?
no,
No.
No, we're
it's
not.
related to the city's operations.
Very good, thank you.
But we will also be able to promote different functions and things. So like if we have like the Evett amp, sorry, that's the mask. We can actually promote things that are going on within the community, within different areas. And I believe that it's able to actually take information from our constituents so that it'll kind of, correct me if I'm wrong, but it'll basically tell them things that are going on in their area. So if you're in the Memorial neighborhood area, and that like this morning there was a sewer problem, it would be able to notify them that streets are closed or something within their area, as an example.
Thank you.
All right, any other questions, discussion? If not, we're looking for a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Do we need to be more specific, or are we good?
The motion should be to approve.
That was a motion to approve, right?
Yes.
That's it. In that case, we have a motion and a second, so all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Chair votes aye and the motion passes. Our next meeting is on June 14th. If there's any scheduling conflicts, I guess let us know before then. And then we're at 5.1, looking for a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
All right, motion and a second. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Chair votes aye. We are adjourned.
Thank you.